This is the Lydian Spin with Lydia Lunch and Tim Dahl. Hi, Tim.
Hello, hello, hello.
You're in
Well,
Brooklyn. I'm
I'm
in
Berlin.
Berlin.
All right, I can see. I'm familiar with the location, not the city, but where you are.
I'm at Vanya's house, our
Oh,
good
yes.
friend, and having a good time. I just came back from 4 shows in Switzerland. Spoken word was fantastic with Dion and the Kaleidoscope of Nothingness. And
You
now
love
I'm
them?
en route to the 19 shows in a row with my tribute
Well,
to
here you go.
suicide with Mark Rotato. All good.
Yes, 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 yes. Well, all good for you, and I'm glad for you. Not all good for Los Angeles and many of our friends. And this is and the winds are picking up right now. One of our guests and one of my friends, Richard Edson, just contacted me. And he's like, "Yeah, man, it's like he's doing what he can. It's kind of like it seems like people are being pretty helpful in general. The over there they are. Of course, it's being politicized, and you know, MAGA is threatening to give no aid unless basically Dems help them raise the debt ceiling so they can
So, so
quote conservatives can spend tons of money. I mean,
it's so freaking pathetic. I was just on the phone with Zoe Hansen, checking in on her and Jerry Stahl, and they're safe for now. But I mean, the toxic air quality. Just
yep.
let's take it from the basic bottom line of the simplest things. Toxic air quality. The anti-inflammatories, I'll call them, that they have to spray in order to not spread the fires are really heavy pollutants. So many people are, fortunately, most of our friends live in Hollywood away from the fires. And I have to say it, I mean, I hate to be sarcastic and sadistic, but if you have a $5 million mansion, you have houses everywhere as well. What's so horrendous is that so much of what has been destroyed, Pacific Palisades, for instance, it's right on the ocean. It's like if only you could tip the world on its side, but you can't. And excuse me, you can't sweep the frickin' forest, you orange ass clown.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work.
I mean, it's so ridiculous. And look, they're called the devil winds because the Santa Ana winds are the devil winds, and it's really horrifying. It's not over yet, and the thing is, like, we had the blizzards in the Midwest. We had New York is still kind of spared of a lot of things.
Well, we had that those Canadian fires a couple years ago, terrible air quality. So
And still, I feel like I've not recovered from the floods that have gone, from the last hurricane up to North Carolina, where a lot of our friends live. And the thing is, if you want to deny that the climate is a problem, you better have your fucking brain examined because obviously climate change is is just accelerating all of this stuff
well, it's
everywhere,
predicted.
not only in America, everywhere. I mean, we know this. And just hope goes out to our friends who hopefully will avoid having everything lost in
Well,
the
also,
fire.
I mean, yes, the houses that burned down that are talked about the most are the $5 million mansions, but there were plenty of houses that were not that also, and just working
Right.
families. So it's
And you can't
fucked
even
up.
estimate at this point. I mean, right now, nobody even knows. It isn't over. We have no idea. And the thing is, this is not the first and the last of the absolutely extreme devastation that our country and mainly a lot of the rest of the world is going to be facing because we have not learned to curb the things that cause climate chaos.
And of course, social services and all that stuff are always being cut. I mean, California, it's a lot of controversy about money going to LAPD as opposed to the fire department, and
Well, and also the mega mansions using a lot of the water that they should not have been just to, feed their freaking gardens. And the thing is, I mean, there's no easy solution, no easy answer, no remedy, and who knows? It's just apocalypse now.
yep, and yes, and also again a little uh, a little empathy going back to Asheville, North Carolina, which is totally screwed, fucked. And it's like, okay, on to the next thing. We forgot about that, but
Yeah,
that's gonna take years to fucking rebuild that shit. So it's like,
it's yeah. I mean, and the thing is, like, look, when there's thousands of structures devastated in whatever state, in whatever country on this planet, like the solution is not obvious. It just isn't. It's just
Simon brought up an interesting point the other day. It's like really conservatives, basically don't not giving a shit about LA and all that, which is just so
so
fucking stupid.
pathetic.
I remember, so it shows how polarized we are because after 9/11, basically anywhere you went in the country, would say things like, we're all New Yorkers. By the time we get to the pandemic, it's so polarized, and we had 30,000 New Yorkers die in 2 months, because it hit here really hard in the beginning, and people are like, "Fuck them." So I don't get it. Again, also Texas, they had that deep freeze, and they had to be bailed out by the federal government.
I don't want to blow my own horn, but as somebody who's been complaining about climate crisis since
That's right.
1985,
That's true.
and Mother Nature's revenge against the men that have been causing her violence, I read a great article the other day that said, well, what should we do? And the article said, maybe we should do nothing, which means maybe we should do less of everything, like buy less, go less places,
Not
fly less,
allowed. Not
drive
allowed.
less. And because the consumeristic nature of how especially this country is with the endless carrot dangling, and the also the discrepancy between those who have and those who have not, meaning everybody wants more of what it is they have, is part of the problem. And so I really look, I'm not a solutionist, I'm just a town crier.
Well, where we're heading, you know, socially around the world, it's kind of like a extreme consumer capitalism meets China, which is basically no rights, things like social scores and all that fucking shit. So what they're doing in New York right now, I didn't realize this. So the no idling penalty, meaning your car can't sit there and idle, for an environmental, that's probably a good thing. What they've done is they've given incentives to civilians. If you see a car idling for more than X amount of minutes, you can take a picture, you do a little video, and
Once
and
again, become the spy of the
yeah,
government with your
exactly.
Instagram,
No,
with your
no,
Facebook, with your TikTok. I mean, this is
it's
another,
like
yeah.
China. So you send it in. The ticket is $450. You get a third of it, and this has been going on for a year. And so there's a guy who made $100,000. He goes last year going around and just taking pictures and taking pictures and taking pictures, or videos. And so it's like divide and conquer, civilians spying
Well,
on each.
okay. Let's just stop there for a minute. I'm always amazed at how many cars there are in New York anyway. But then again, and the crimes on the subway, let's face fact, it was a lot worse back in the day. It's just we have more access to the information of how bad it is. But when everybody has a car in New York City, and then with congestion pricing also going up, I mean, cars idling, I mean, it's just, we're just on the high road to nowhere, and it's pretty fucked.
It is.
But in the meantime,
Yes.
that's why people like you and I have to come out and try to be the salve to the dystopian apocalypse that we're in now, by
Yes.
trying to create at least a half an hour or an hour long presentation wherever we can of something that might relieve the burden of the individual who understands or even doesn't want to face the fact that we're pretty much fucked. And so, and especially I think in America, where we have predators, sexual abusers, felons, convicted and not, who are going to be riding the pony all the way to the end times. I'm sorry, I have to laugh at that because to me, end times, look, it's going to be a long time before the end times are here. People don't panic. But the thing is it going to get worse before it gets better? And I have to say, probably so. But, it's cyclical, same as it ever was. Things go in cycles.
So the Revenge of the Nerds fraternity is going to be it's going to be at the inauguration, which is Musk, Bezos, Zuckerberg. They're all going to be
I mean,
there.
you know what? I mean, these hypocrites are so, it's so phenomenal what turncoats they all are, purporting to be one thing one time, then, and then changing their colors immediately to be orange, as they all are, for the purpose of what? And the thing is, with all of the money that has been accelerated during these last few
Oh yeah.
years of disaster, where the 20 billionaires own more. And again, to me, it's all fake money anyway. It's like, it's not a pile of money they have, it's a pile of possibility, while the rest of us make less money, pay more out. And then again, we have idiots who are not only immigrants themselves, but have married immigrants who want to kick out the people that might actually be making and have made, especially America, a better place to live. Because without the so-called immigrants who were here before everybody else, we'd be a wasteland. And I really love that the president of Mexico said, maybe we should just call America, Mexico, America. Why don't we just call it really, the Gulf of America
It's so stupid.
by green. I mean, what these concepts are so outrageously stupid and ignorant, as if because you have money, you can buy everything you want, including other countries, other independent land terrain. And by the way, not wanting immigrants to be here, wanting to kick them out, while your best butt buddy is a South African immigrant who got here on false pretense. Oh, please. And you wonder why I can't take the bullhorn away from my own freaking lips. Well, I'm just saying.
Well, you know
I
who's not
have,
going
go ahead.
who's not going to be at the inauguration is Michelle Obama. I think she's going to run. I think these are all little conspicuous gestures leading up to her running in 4 years. I don't know if that's the solution either. I feel like the whole system needs to be gut renovated. I mean,
Absolutely. I
I
mean, the
mean
thing is,
it's
I don't think any millionaire or billionaire should be telling the rest of us what to do. And that so much of America, what the fuck is wrong with you? Voted for a guy who has bankrupted so many businesses, born with a silver spoon up his ass, lies chronically and pathologically, and then here he is, a convicted felon, sexual predator, in charge of what the rest of us are going to do. This to me is just, and look, I left the country once, and trust me, every day I'm thinking, well, I can do it again. I'm not saying every day has the ability to leave the country, but the problem is, what is the fucking country soon as we
well,
once knew it?
well, I always forget his name. I brought him up before, the Japanese economic Nobel Prize winner in the 90s, and very interesting coming from a Japanese, because Japan's very nationalistic. Um, he says that the old country border design is so obsolete at this point, and it's just there to contain populations from revolution, basically, and give them this false sense of exceptionalism. But it's not how the world's run, and it's run by
That's not how the world is. I mean, it is a global planet.
right.
And by the way, everybody is an immigrant of something, except for there are nations which most of the people are indigenous for hundreds, if not thousands of years. America is not one of them.
Yeah, true, true. You know,
We obliterated the indigenous people as much as we could, whoever first came over here to occupy America. So it's like, in America, almost everybody is an immigrant or their grandparents were. How do you think, and why do you think it's all just bullshit rhetoric? Oh, we're going to mass deport who? Who are we going to mass deportate? Oh, maybe all the people you didn't pay for mowing your fucking golf courses? You fucking idiot.
So I always say the thread that connects all of mankind
Here we go.
is
Thank
the
you. Tell us, Tim Doll.
is the fear of death. Now, people will say sometimes, I'm not afraid of dying, but if a bus comes whipping around the corner and you're crossing the street, you're not thinking, you just jump out of the way. It's just the instinct. And so people are just terrified of death. And so historically, the humans with the superior weapons will just dominate and kill the ones who have the inferior weapons, because they want, basically, there's a gun to their head, and it's like, see it like me or die. Because the person who's saying see it like me is terrified of dying themselves, and really what they want is just a hug as they enter they sprint to the finish line of their existence.
Well,
And
and unfortunately, that is sadly where religion comes in because man's greatest problem, as you've just said, fear is what is based on their greed, on their warmongering,
yep.
and their religious fanaticism about that something greater might exist, so that they don't have to fear their own basic, boring mortality. Which just means, you know what? When you're dead, you just might be dead. So if you want to pray to a God that has been created by somebody else so that you hope there's something more after this, and this is the problem. This is not only the problem with religion, it's the problem with greedy fucking capitalists who thinks something better lays on the other side. Hello, Greenland. Oh, so much better. Oh, Panama Canal. Let's call it. I mean, this is just such greed based on fear that it is never enough because in this life, if you don't have as much as you think you want or need, well, truthful is you're not going to get it in the other because there is no other life. So fear runs most war, most greed, and most corporations. And here we are, the rest of us. Let's put it this way. I have no fear because, first of all, I don't have fear of death. And second of all, I have no fear of them coming after me because I don't make enough money, no matter how much I squawk about all the crap they do, for them to come after me. And in the meantime, you know what? We could say, as I like to say, it's the same as it ever was, which means it's cyclical. This bullshit is cyclical. So in the meantime, the main issue should be you better find who your real family is, and I don't mean my blood. You better find who your community is. You better find what makes you happy. You better enjoy pleasure and don't deny it. You better stop judging, except for obviously there's a lot to be judged at this point. You've got to stop judging your peers and embracing them for the fact that we do have us weirdo individuals, us artists, and those that appreciate art, some kind of community that rebels against all of this bullshit in the prayer, in the hope, in the false hope, possibly, but still, there is hope, but not for us, as Kafka once said. That right here and right now, this moment in time, you better enjoy and appreciate it because you know what? We don't know when it's going to end.
Correct.
And with that, I say, anything more to be said, Tim Dahl? This is
That's
the
nice.
Lydia Spin with Lydia Lunch and Tim Dahl. I'm just so happy we can continue to have this platform to expose people to other like-minded individuals, to offer just a glimmer of hope that no matter how isolated anyone feels, we are not alone. And you know what? Actually, if we added it up, we might actually be the majority, but nobody's taken a statistic. And even if we are the minority, I don't know about right or wrong, but we're not them. We are the Lydian Spin with Lydia Lunch and Tim Dahl. This is the Lydian Spin with Lydia Lunch, Tim Dahl, and Mike Nine Williams, vocalist, frontman, author of the New Orleans-based best name ever in rock, Eyehategod. Hi, Mike.
Hello, how are you?
I'm
It's
perfect as
great
always.
to
What
meet
about
you.
you?
I stalked you in the 90s, so
Hey,
Whoa.
what? Well, I guess you didn't do a very good job, did you,
I
son? You
did.
don't stalk. You don't stalk the stalker.
Actually, I don't know how I got it, but I got your phone number from someone because I knew you were in New Orleans.
I was,
Yeah,
and
and I called once, and some guy answered the phone, and I kind of gave up after that.
well,
Oh.
yeah,
I
I
know
didn't
I'm not a
realize
good stalker, I guess. I mean, I
you're
should
going
try
to take some
harder.
lessons after this
I
podcast.
will. I will.
Mike,
So what's it?
do you miss the days of the landline? Like ring, ring, ring. Who could that be?
Right.
Hello?
Star
Yeah.
69.
I think there was answering machines in the 90s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Anyway, what's
Any,
interesting is this episode goes up right after the Lamb of God podcast, of which
Oh, you
that
interviewed Randy. Okay.
Randy, who stepped in for you for a few shows, Lamb of God, I
Yeah.
Hate God, and he stepped in for a few shows. Nice guy.
Yeah, he I was dying actually, and he stepped in on these tours with this band Discharge, who are one of my favorite bands. So
I know.
it was cool to have a friend
Yeah.
step in and do those shows without me. And now we're best friends with Discharge, including me. So I've met them, and they're
What
really
were you
cool
dying
guys.
from that time?
That was the liver thing. Yeah. Yeah,
Did you have hepatitis? What was going on? You had hepatitis?
I had hepatitis. I had cirrhosis from years and years of abuse, and I got a new liver. Like
Well,
right.
congratulations, because not everyone does.
Very lucky.
And
No,
it,
I am lucky.
and it seems like it's working.
It's working so far. Yeah, everything's fine.
You
It's
look
like
pretty
life.
good.
Yeah, yeah. I still have a drink here and there. I even asked my doctor. He's like, you can have some wine here and there, but sometimes on tour it gets a little out of hand. But I try. I really do try. I got a new liver. I didn't get a new brain.
Okay.
The
So
brain
I mean,
same.
what was the drink when you're really going for it with the old liver? What was the drink of choice?
2 bottles of vodka a day, the giant bottles of vodka.
From what age did you start hitting it that hard?
I started drinking when I was like 13. So,
Okay.
but it got gradually worse. And I used to shoot cocaine and all these things.
Oh,
so,
that'll help.
Yeah.
What were those hangovers? What were those
further-
hangovers like right before the liver? What were those? I mean, if your liver wasn't really working that well towards the end of that thing, so
No.
you're
I stopped with the vodka and just was on wine for a while, but then I finally just stopped because you have to quit totally before they'll even, think about giving you a new liver. So,
How long did it take
the
to
hangovers
recover?
are horrible. They're awful. They're terrible.
yeah.
Ask Tim how he's feeling today.
I'm feeling a little rough today. But,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't that extreme, but
You
enough.
were flying high and hit something in the air last night, if you ask me. I know.
All right, well,
over. Because you texted me at 1:30 in the freaking morning.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
I was
Sometimes I
was
roll
hanging
like
out
that.
with Kevin Shea. It was all good. So
That's
you're
good.
originally from North Carolina. Is that true?
Yes, I am. I was born in High Point, a small little furniture town.
I know it.
I was there until like 77. My parents both had died by that point. I had a brother commit suicide like the same week as my dad died. So
What'd your
like,
parents die from?
my mom was in a car accident when I was like 7 or 8. I don't even know what year. And then my dad died in 77 or 76, something like that, the end of 76. And I had a brother commit suicide that same week. So
Do you have other siblings? Do you have any other siblings, or are you just all alone?
I have another brother. That's who became my legal guardian. And he's the one that wanted to move to New Orleans because he had spent a lot of time there, so. But I haven't been able to get in touch with him in years now. So I don't know what's up with him
Wow.
Yeah.
You choose your family at one point.
Well, yeah, my friends are my family. That's.
I mean, that must have been. That must have been pretty hardcore at 15, both parents and a brother.
At 11.
Oh, at 11.
Yeah.
That's harsh.
Yeah, it was pretty harsh, but I mean, it's made me a stronger person. I think in the long run, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're still surviving. You're outliving them.
Yeah, which is amazing. With the new liver and everything.
Well,
How
I mean,
how you go ahead, Tim?
well, it's interesting because you're talking about finding your own family, and then so you're kind of frontman rock and roll brethren. They've stepped in. There is a family in this music thing, and you also did the same thing essentially for not the same thing, but essentially supported and helped Seth Putnam from Anal Cunt coming out of his coma, right? Is that
I didn't help him, but we did a show with him.
Supported, right?
Yeah, we supported him like that. Yeah, as friends. I mean, we were friends with him for years and years and years. Our first show we ever played in Boston in '93 was with Anal Cunt. So we became immediate friends.
Yeah,
because they were pretty insane and
very insane.
Yeah,
Tim's a big fan.
Well, the thing is, Sethy, a lot of people misunderstood him, and I guess not every person is a match made in heaven with that guy. But I hung out with him a couple times. I got along with him fine.
Well, that's the thing. He off stage and with us, he was just a nice guy.
Yeah.
He wasn't this maniac. Like people are raising him to the level of like a Gigi Allen thing, and he wasn't like that at all.
But,
He didn't cut
fortunately, there is
himself.
very few and one less Gigi Allen now because, I had
Right.
I had no time for
But
that.
according to Kembra Fowler, she was friends with Gigi Allen, and she said he was like that too. Actually, she knew him when he was not on the stage character thing.
I met Gigi a couple times, and he was he didn't say much. He was just kind of quiet, but he wasn't a maniac off stage, But Seth was totally just a friendly guy, He got heavy into drugs, and he got way into this offending people thing, and people weren't offended by his early stuff, so he started going into racism and things like that, and it just started getting weird. And we did an entire tour with Anal Cunt, and I don't know what year, 98 maybe, 97
okay.
or something. And I mean, he was just, he off stage, he was fine,
Well, how often did he get attacked? How often did people attack him on stage? No, like, because some people would take that shit really seriously and get offended.
Yeah.
And that would lead to people attacking him sometimes.
In that time, like 97, 98, people still got offended by him. So yeah, he would get jumped every now and then. And none of us would help him because we're like, what are we supposed to do? It's like he started it, I'm not gonna jump in. But he did hit me.
Have you been attacked?
Well, you just did. No, but you said he hit you what?
He hit me with a chair once. I don't think he knew it was me. I was in the crowd watching him on that tour, and he just came off the stage with a chair and just slammed. I was blacked out for like 3 seconds or something.
Ouch.
Whoa.
It was kind of.
So it was WWE. It was like a WWE show.
It was a hard wooden chair, so I don't know about WWE,
yeah.
But
yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, that happened. Actually, Allen actually hit me with a cymbal stand as well and split my chin open when they played.
You're only attacked by other band members.
Yeah. None of our fans have attacked me. They've gotten mad at me, but that's about it.
Get in line.
Yeah.
What about Jesus freaks or like Christians? Have they attacked you? I mean, I'm sure.
We've had some protests before. We've had the preachers calling up the club saying, "Stop the show! Don't do the show." Of course, they didn't do anything. I mean, we still played, but that was back in the '90s too. Like in Tennessee or somewhere. But there was one protest on Halloween night in New Orleans. We played, and actually, my other band played, but our flyer was on. They even put it on the news. These Christians marched around the club with crosses on their back, like because some girl had ran away, and they found all these punk and metal flyers in her room. So they chose to put our flyer, Eyehategod flyer, on television, even though that band didn't play that night. But it was good publicity, though.
Great publicity.
Yeah. And they just marched around like singing and stuff. It was harmless.
Well, I mean, let's just stop for a minute. I mean, Christians, Catholics, they're carrying the cross on their back. Excuse me, if you believe in the God that crucified his only son, condemns us all to unholy fucking hell. What's more brutal, a band called Eyehategod or religion itself? Like, get off my tits.
Right. Yeah. They don't understand.
Pathetic. On Halloween in New Orleans. I mean, that's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane. It's just they don't understand. What are they? They're so stupid. They can't understand anything.
Are you in New Orleans right now?
Yes, I am.
So what's the aftermath of that truck massacre? I mean, is it pretty tense right now?
Everybody's kind of freaked out, I guess. I mean, nothing like that's happened here. And they're calling it a terrorist attack, and
right.
There were bombs found. Apparently, there was like 2 pipe bombs found in the French Quarter. So I'm like, the French Quarter is like 10 blocks from where I'm at right now. I'm in the Treme right now.
Yeah.
So the great neighborhood, but yeah, it's just crazy,
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
Oh, what people don't realize about both attacks, I mean, the one in New Orleans and then the one the following day in front of the Trump Hotel, is that these are both vets. And the one that, did the New Orleans thing, I mean, his basic complaint was, you go into the military, they promise you all this stuff, you come out, you get nothing. And at one point, the largest amount of homeless people in the U.S. were Vietnam vets, mostly in Texas. So, the endless carrot dangles, people come out, they know how to build bombs and shoot you up, and then you wonder why. And I mean, the thing is, it's kind of interesting. Well, I'll just go to the Trump Tesla. It's like that's kind of a fuck you to both the autistic one and the dumbest president ever.
Yeah,
like, get the point, guys.
Well, they're saying what was weird because that guy was like a, he had all these medals. He was like this
green beret,
green beret. And they were saying it was such a hack job for someone with that kind of military training. The guy was just PTSD. It was just bonkers.
Fuel and stuff in the car or something. Like it wasn't bombs or anything, as far as I know. But I think he wanted to take out more people, and he just took himself out. Yeah. The photo is great though, with the Trump hotel and then the car on fire. It's
well, it takes the onus off of schoolyard shootings for a minute, So
yeah.
Welcome to America.
How often do you see that Tesla pickup truck in New Orleans? You see one every now and then?
It often, yeah.
It's really Dorksville. I mean, it's
horrible looking. Yeah. It's really dumb. Yeah. But didn't Marjorie Taylor Greene was like, we got to close the borders. I'm like, he's a U.S. citizen. What are you talking about?
Well, at one point, these idiots were saying the enemy within. It is the enemy within. It's, dissatisfied people who've been fed bullshit all their life and are coming back to fucking attack. The enemy is within. And by the way, some of them have just been elected.
Well, no, but that's what happened with GW. He was kind of dumb and earnest. And after 9/11, he's like, we need to have this big FBI study on terrorism in this country. And they came back like, well, this is who it is. It's a bunch of white Christian men. And they're like, don't bring that up. Look away. Don't talk about that.
They don't want to know that. They don't want to know that at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, it's very popular to blame the crimes within on others who are coming in to avoid the crime that they have to deal with in their own freaking home. So, it's amazing to me, too, that somebody as ridiculous who's in the country probably illegally, which would be Elon Musk, is a invalid immigrant who only wants immigrants of his ilk to come in when he doesn't even really have an official visa because he lied about getting into this country. So fuck the fuck off.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's so dumb.
Yeah,
it's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Is Trump's wife even legal? I don't even know.
Right. You marry two immigrants and then you complain about others that are sending money back home to their families. Shut up. It's so dumb.
Well, I mean, hypocrisy, really. I mean, again, the whole Christians, Muslims things. I mean, you can criticize any kind of religious fanaticism, but has anyone been keeping score? I mean, Christians have killed so many more fucking people.
Through history, history.
Doesn't even come
close. Then
you
got the fake Christians like Trump, Bible ban, holding a Bible up that he's selling for 400 times the amount you could buy it on Amazon, which he's never even read the Bible or probably any book. I don't think he can read. That's why I don't think he needs diagrams.
No.
Let's get back to music here. So
let's get back to reading. What about some of your? What about your book, which was Cancer as a Social Activity? What about some poems from that? You got that on the ready?
I don't have the book here. I have stuff I can read, but
go ahead and just throw some down. It's a new year. Just give us some literature, some poetry.
All right. My book is sold out right now, and I don't even have a copy. But I just talked about that today, so I'm getting more printed. So This is
who's going to put that out? Do you know who's going to put that out?
I'm putting it out.
Good. I self-published a book myself recently. I think it's the way to go.
Somebody published it for me when it first came out in 2003. So it's been out for a long time. And I've got other ones written. I'm just so fucking OCD and ADHD and I got to get these other books out. I've got a publisher and everything. I just got to edit and drill with that. So I've got all this stuff, and some of it's really disjointed and not edited yet. But
maybe you should turn that job over to somebody else. Make it easy on yourself, son.
Yeah, that's true. I don't trust.
But I know.
No. With anything, I trust.
Well, let me tell you how you can get the task completed. If you just decide a certain hour every day, that's all you're going to work on, even for 1 hour, same time every day, is going to get done faster than you know it.
I would love to be able to do that. I hope I can. I'll take it from you, and I will I'm going to write that down and
because really that kind of discipline does help get things done, even if you think it's only an hour. But no, I mean,
no, it's
you get done. It's better than getting nothing done.
It's better than watching TV all day, which I'm a TV. I call myself a TVologist because I just love trashy television. But
I like
Like what
some
kind
too.
of trash?
yeah, yeah, anything
What kind?
trashy. But yeah,
Have you seen the Kings of Tupelo yet?
I did.
It's good.
Oh my God, I was gonna bring that up to you guys.
I saw it again last night with Kevin Shea. It's so
That's
weird.
Mississippi, man. That's fucking Mississippi.
I haven't seen it.
Strange. That's a strange state. I know it's one over from where I'm at, but
Oh, it's strange. It's always 49. That in Alabama, it's always 49-50 of like
Look,
last and
two
everything.
brother Elvis
Yeah.
impersonators. One insurance salesman is making money. The other falls into a conspiracy hole, which is a real conspiracy hole, and then gets upstarted by a Wayne Newton impersonator.
yeah, the
It's
whole
one of
thing.
the best documentaries, weirdest ever, I think. Yeah,
I didn't even know it
glad you saw
existed, but I stumbled on it, and it's excellent.
I
Yeah,
stumbled on it.
yeah.
All right, with that in mind, give us some poetry.
All right. Let's see here. All right. There's a highway on my arms, a map of a motorway. Rivers and ditches bend and curve. We fade into the particle board, wrapping yourself with the obvious insincerity, like warm blankets on these sickening days. Wrap yourself with rapid cycling, like sheets of paper covered with lies. Untruthful is the way we roll. I roll away with the tide and the stink of the Mississippi River.
Love it.
Thanks.
Carry on more.
Yeah, okay.
More.
Let's see what's the better one here.
Have you done any readings from your book when it first came out, or?
No, I've been doing like spoken word stuff as much as I can,
Great.
mostly in New Orleans, but I did one in Dortmund, Germany once.
Okay.
And
I
I've done
think it's so important. Yeah.
I've done one at a bookstore here. I've done a bunch, but mostly at clubs and things. But the bookstore was cool. And I did one.
Clubs, they pay you. Bookstores, they don't. So
I've never gotten paid for it yet. But well, maybe I got $50 once for doing
you got to talk to me later about this issue.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna do a tour, like a spoken word tour with other people, and like
Good.
have some like experimental
that.
noise people on the tour or something.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
Randy Lamb of God has his books too.
He gets on my case constantly. He wants me to do a biography, but that's really hard. I mean, I've started that kind of, but he's always poetry. You got to write a book about your life. I'm like, I guess, you know.
Well, there's an easy trick to that too. If you want to give me 50 cents, I'll tell you.
I'll pay.
All right. I'll put it on your tab. Look, everybody can tell a good story. That's why we have a podcast. It doesn't mean you could write a good story, but if you maybe get a friend, a cat, or a rabbit, and you decide to tape these good stories, then you transcribe them, and there's the good story. But you can write these poems are beautiful. Let's hear some more. Let's hear some more poems.
All right. You know who told me the same thing? Alexander Haka told me to write, 50 words a day.
Yeah.
And it'll be done.
Yeah, he's a great
guy. I almost did a band with him, but that's another story.
Maybe later.
Yeah. All right. The loneliest state of mind is going through a trader's purse. Seeing the lies up close, stealing her stuff for no good reason, except to maybe get a piece of her to keep. Her name is synonymous with alcohol poisoning. Let's rhyme best friend with liar. Tears will finally dry in their endlessly streaming riverbed ducts, flaunting my flawed self. I think of you every time something falls beneath the floor.
I really like these a lot. Mike Nine Williams.
Wow, I'm happy.
Now I'm going to be stalking you. I'm going to be stalking you. More readings, more poetry. Get that book written. Come on, step it up.
I've been writing since I was a kid, but that finally.
You got the goods, buddy. You got the goods.
Well, thank you. I'm excited you're saying that. That's awesome. Here's another one though.
Thank you.
Saw the last.
I can't stop you. I'll say it again.
I'm not going to stop. I have a bad cough right now. We saw the last sunrise of the decade. Cars are driving alone and free, then in groups of 3 or 4. Wheels sound wet on the street. Staring at the soles of my shoes, staring at a hole in the mirror, a paragoric hardship, paranoid in our relationship, immeasurable neglect.
Fantastic. I love it. I also love the artwork on your album covers and the videos. Who do you have somebody that does most of those, or is it different people, or what?
Um, all the early artwork I did myself. All the first
Fantastic.
like three or four, three albums I think I
I
did my.
love it.
Yeah. And now I mean, I'm kind of like a consultant because we used to be cut and paste,
Yeah.
glue stick with scissors, glue it together, send it off to the label. But
Right.
now we use Photoshop, but it's the same concept.
Yeah.
Our bass player mainly, he knows Photoshop. I don't. So he'll send me something or I'll send him an image and we're like, okay, what can we put with this? And he'll put it all together on Photoshop. But it's the same, it's like the
Yeah.
modern cut and paste.
Yeah, I understand. Who does the videos?
I
Always
think we
different,
only
or
have that one video, the medicine noose thing. I forget the guy's name, but he charged us $400 for that, and it's not even that great. I don't know.
I saw a few good ones on YouTube.
Oh, there's fan made stuff. There's some
They're
Oh,
really good. They're
yeah.
really good.
like the pro
Fan-made
stuff is like
great.
fan made stuff. Okay.
Yeah, there's the medicine noose one, which is the one that the label set up and we had came out
Okay.
of our royalties or whatever. But
I think I saw some from Dope Sick, the album Dope Sick. I'm not sure. Maybe I
yeah.
did. I was listening. I was listening. I was having a little review preview. What I found with the latest record, you tell me if I'm wrong here, but one of my favorite bands that everybody else hated, I started to hear some of your vocals with a little bit of No Trend in there. You know
Oh,
the band?
I love that band. I
I
love
love that band. Most people hated them.
They were fantastic. I thought they were the best band out of DC at that time.
Well, and I
With
have
all
to
the
quote
straight
almost
edge stuff going on, they were the greatest.
I mean, a few of them committed suicide, and they're
Did
not a
they?
happy. Yeah, not a happy. But I quote at least once a month: "Too many fucking humans. You breed like rats, and you're no fucking better." I did
Yes.
a few shows with them. I did a few songs with them. But yeah, I started to hear a little No Trend affectation, which I really liked, in the
Really?
history of
Yeah.
nomadic
They
behavior.
used a lot of effects, right? No, I don't know. I'm like singing dry on that album pretty much, but
It was just the
maybe it's
phrasing,
something.
I think. Phrasing and maybe the concepts, because the concepts are dark. That's
Yeah.
talking
Yeah,
about
that's
reality here.
off the top of my head stuff, like
Yeah.
the
What
writing. But
what
yeah,
about what
that's
about
cool.
Celtic Frost? Did you like Hellhammer
Of
even before
course, yeah.
but before Celtic Frost? Did you ever see Hellhammer?
I've never seen Hellhammer,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that was short lived.
I've seen Celtic Frost a few times.
No, because it's interesting when I hear your music and a lot of the influences that you guys list, I go, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. I was like,
Yeah,
Celtic Frost, interesting angle. Which I
yeah.
love myself. But did you ever tour with any of your heroes that you saw as a kid?
Oh yeah, we did a tour in 2019 with Sheer Terror, who are they're a New York hardcore band, but they eschew all of the bullshit macho shit
Sure.
from the New York hardcore scene.
Right.
They hate it actually. The singer Paul Bearer is his name. They're like New York punk rock, but he screams, but he also sings as well. And they're really good. And it was
It's got
Negative
nothing to
Approach.
do with the valet of the Undertaker, the wrestler, whose valet was
No,
called Paul
I know who you're
Bearer.
talking about too, but it's the same name, yeah.
I got it.
But it was Sheer Terror, The Accused, and Negative Approach.
Oh, cool.
So those are like bands when I was a kid that I loved. And then I've met so many people just through the years from like childhood. I hate to say heroes because I don't want to have any heroes, but just people, that
Influencer, people that influenced you.
yeah, like Discharge, and just other people that have it's been amazing to meet them. Like for Negative Approach, the singer John Brannon has a band
He's
called
great.
Laughing Hyenas.
Yeah, love
And
Laughing
they're like probably in the top five of my favorite bands. So now he texts me drunk and like sends me David Bowie videos, and
Oh, weird.
it's just weird to have that happen. After
We once sat in a park, John and I. I've only met him once, and I really liked him. We sat in a park in Finland, I believe it was maybe Helsinki, at a festival watching ducks fuck, which are going to be rapists. That was my experience. We had a great time. Would love to have him on the show. Please tell him I want him.
I will do that. He's
Absolutely.
a great guy, man. You know, he was in Laughing Hyenas. He's in the band called Easy Action, who are more rock and roll, but still heavy as fuck, you know?
Yeah. Well, what I like about Eyehategod is like Tim's more of a metalhead than I am, but we all like all kinds of music. But first of all, I like the pace, which is slower and sludgier, if I can use that word. And I also like that the singing is not, which is what turns me off from most metal. Is just that, like just the way that so much of it is, it sounds the same, and you know.
Yeah.
So I'll go with Eyehategod, especially because I do like a good sludgy, grungy, slow.
Well, you like blues rock, Lydia. You like blues rock. You like blues rock, Lydia. Yeah. You like sleazy blues rock. So there's
that's what we don't like to be called metal. You know, I don't think we're metal, honestly. No, I mean, we get lost into that, but when the band first started and we were just, you know, Melvins were like one of the biggest influences for all of us. But I was like into Kill Slug, this band from Boston. If you ever checked them out, they're amazing. And Flipper, you know, that's where I was going in my head for the slow stuff was Flipper, Kill Slug. Also bands like St. Vitus and things like that, like more Sabbathy stuff.
Well, it's funny you say that because Ozzy didn't like the term heavy metal either. He's like, I never liked that. It's like the journalist came up with that shit. I don't what. He goes,
right. That's where sludge came from. Is a journalist said, "Oh, he got her sludge metal," and we're like, "What the fuck is that?" Like, I mean, I accept it now. I just accept it.
Yeah, because what are you gonna call it?
I call it punk hardcore blues or something, you know. But I mean,
it defies all of those categories.
How about rock and roll?
Well, that's what I say to people in interviews. I'm like, it's just rock and roll. They're like, when did you invent sludge? I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like,
I kind of like
the
name
word
sludge.
grunge. It's a label. You know?
But I mean, I kind of like the name sludge.
I was in East. I was actually in East Texas not that long ago, and it was some kind of like truck stop shakedown. There was like an undercover cop that was kind of comes up to me and it's like, I don't know what he thinks. I thinks maybe I have drugs on me. He was basically he was trying to harass me. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he goes, well, what are you up to? He thought I was a pimp. I don't know what he thought. It was weird. and no, seriously. And he goes, well, what are you doing here? I was like, I'm a musician. He goes, what do you play? And I go, rock. And then the guy's like, you got me. I have nothing on you.
Right.
Well, whenever going through
a simplified way to
whenever going through British customs, I always if the custom agents are a certain age, I'm like, do you have a pair of platforms in your closet? I know you were into Slade or Mouth the Hoop. They're like, you're right, go on in.
Yeah.
True.
We got pulled one time and the guy started to search all of us in our bags. And he goes, you guys like the Red Hot Chili Peppers? And we were like, yeah, sure. You know, and nobody did. Yeah, we just agreed with him. And he's like, all right, you're cool. Go on. You can go.
Whenever they ask me, I always go poetry and they leave it at that. What are you doing? I'm poetry. They're like, all right. And then if
they don't want to know.
No, they don't want to even know. Yeah, they don't even want to know.
But you have a history of cops harassing you. And has that slowed down now that you don't drink like you used to?
Yes, it has. I haven't been arrested since 2006. Okay. I got arrested after Katrina, the terrible hurricane here. God. I stayed in town for the hurricane because we always stayed in town for hurricanes.
Sure.
We just get a bunch of booze and
hunker down
and have a hurricane party, you know?
Yeah.
But this one just happened to be a lot worse than we'd ever seen.
Yes.
So I ended up staying, and I was in the methadone clinic at the time. So that was no more. There was no methadone clinic.
Oh, so
no nothing.
Oh,
no nothing.
Yeah. So I looted a pharmacy.
Yeah.
Along with 30 other people, but I ended up getting caught for that out of town in another city called Morgan City, west from here, and in a stolen car, which they never got me for that. But
you're lucky.
But they found all the shit that I had. I had bottles of opiate cough syrup. I had pretty much everything.
that
Fentanyl,
you needed to get through another day.
Yeah. And I had like 2 little bottles of methadone that were prescribed to me. They charged me with those, which is, yeah, it's a
That's lame.
backwoods little country jail. There was like
But
maybe
those like their wet dream bust here.
it was in the paper and everything in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
city, in that little city. It was like,
So how much time
Mike,
did you serve?
Mike, 1 minute. One thing about busting into a pharmacy because you need to get your medication. Another thing to be in a stolen car, which they don't bust you for.
yeah, which they didn't. That never came up. I was shocked.
So
I was
bizarre.
like, wow, they just dropped that somehow. Like, I ended up getting a really good lawyer with the help of some friends, but I spent 3 months in that little country jail up there. I was the only white guy there, which is fine. Everybody was super cool to me. They were like, he's in a band, I was helping these hip hop guys like write lyrics and stuff in there. It wasn't that bad, except I was locked up,
And
but
3 months, and then did you detox in prison?
I totally detoxed.
Because what choice do you have?
I have no choice.
Brutal.
They give you nothing. Ibuprofen, maybe.
Maybe.
I think I demanded they bring me to a hospital once in like the 4th day of detoxing, and they shot me up with Finnegan, I think it is, the anti-nausea thing, and that was it. That was like all I could get. So yeah, I detoxed out. That I was also on doing dope at the same time, stupidly, as I was on methadone and benzodiazepines and Xanax, and so that was
just call it what it was. You were a freaking garbage head, dude.
Yeah. That's how I got through the 90s. That's how I got.
So when you did 3 months of jail, at what point, what day is it where you jump that hurdle? When is it like I kicked it? How long does that take?
For methadone and benzos, probably 2 or 3 weeks to feel.
Oh my God.
Maybe more to feel like normal. Like, I still don't feel normal at all. But
well, you're not normal. That's why we love you. You'll never be normal.
No, I don't think I can. I don't know how, but yeah, like to feel like not jumping out of my skin, and like I didn't eat for like a week.
Yeah,
I was taking like white bread and soaking it in water and like trying to swallow it just because I couldn't eat. I was like, puking and shitting and
all of it. Did you stay straight after that?
No.
Right. Yeah.
No, I mean,
got a new liver, but you didn't get a new brain. You said that,
but not for lack of trying, though. I mean, I relapsed a bunch of times, of course. Relapse.
Statistically, that's what happens. Yeah.
They say relapse is part of recovery, so I'm gonna hold them to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I relapsed a bunch of times, and got back on methadone and off, and was on Suboxone for a minute, and like things like that. But
did you try the Ibogaine? Did you ever do the Ibogaine?
No, I didn't have to. There was for the hepatitis, there was some treatment for is that for the hepatitis?
No. Ibogaine's the psychedelic that takes you like
helps with addiction.
Kick with.
Yeah,
okay.
my buddy did. It worked for him. It actually worked for him.
The yippies.
I've heard it works.
Yeah. Ibogaine or ayahuasca, but the yippies were the first to talk about Ibogaine in the '60s. Actually, they had a headquarter on Bleecker Street.
I know. Yeah.
So with him, he basically it was like 14 hours, but he relived every single decision he made in his life.
Like ayahuasca.
And he saw all the permutations of other decisions he could have made. It was pretty terrifying. It was like a reboot of the computer. And
sounds like ayahuasca, like she said, yeah.
But it's the Godfather line.
Serotonin and dopamine. I mean, the thing is,
so that's what's interesting.
Yeah.
So he did relapse 3 months afterwards, and he shot up, and nothing happened.
Really?
Yeah. It's like it doesn't even work. So that was it.
To reset his mind to that.
Totally.
The dopamine thing. That's crazy.
Yeah. Worth investigating if you ever feel the need again.
No, yeah, it's illegal in America, isn't it? Ibogaine?
Yeah. There's a solution it all out
because it cures you, so it's illegal.
Right, because they want
Well, my brother,
some more opioids. Yeah.
My brother works for the CDC, and he says that that's one of the biggest flaws with the anti-vaxxer thing. Is it's actually Big Pharma hates vaccines. They want lifestyle drugs that they can sell you for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
They,
yeah,
they
of
don't want a
course.
one and done fix.
Yeah.
There's less money in that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. They want to keep you sick and keep you hanging on, you know.
Yep, yep.
That's right. Life is
Crazy.
expensive. Death is expensive. Just keep paying the fucking man. Stop
Yeah,
it.
it's a big business, all that.
So
That's
does
horrible.
obviously you've been to prison, you've had a liver
Jail,
transplant.
not
Yeah,
prison.
sorry,
Jail.
Does anything scare you?
Now,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, does anything even do you even bat an eye with almost any situation? I mean,
not really, no. Not
yeah.
at all. I'm not afraid to die. I'm not afraid to no.
Live. Not afraid to live.
Not afraid to live either, you know. That's true.
That's
No, I
important.
even like a few years ago I jumped out of a plane, which was
What?
something I wanted to do for a long time.
Oh, you're talking parachuting. Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah. Skydiving,
He
yeah.
was on his way to Europe. He couldn't stand it. He just had to get out of there.
I had to get away from my band. I jumped out
Oh
the
my
window.
how did that go? I mean, I don't think
No,
I'm ever gonna.
it was great. It was something I
Okay.
wanted to do for a long time, and I finally got the chance to do it. And I'd do it again in a second. It was amazing. It really like it just a lot of different things went through my head.
And that kind of re-ups you in a way. Something like that.
Yeah.
That is amazing and possibly terrifying because let's face it, it is.
At the time too, I was in a bad place, so I was dead inside more than usual. So I was just kind of like, let's do it, just jump, you know. The guy was like, should we spin in the air? And I'm like, whatever you want to do, man. Let's just do it. I just want
How long were you free falling before the parachute came out?
It seems like 5 minutes, but I think it's only like 35 seconds.
Yeah, but your adrenaline's pumping so hard. It's like,
yeah. It was a lot of fun though. But that was something that, yeah, I don't think maybe I was afraid to do that in the past, but yeah, not really afraid.
There's that
done
skydiving,
it now,
that
yeah.
skydiving serial killer woman from I think Belgium or Netherlands, and she was going to different like skydiving clubs and like severing.
Oh,
yeah, it's just because you have a safety, you have a backup one, you have two of them.
yeah. There's
and
two.
they're and they're like, wait, both of them malfunction? Like the chances are so slim. And then he started like following the pattern, like, wait, it's this woman that's in all these places.
That's really sick, man. That's
beyond.
What
beyond.
a way to go.
Yeah, that's. I guess you die immediately though when you hit the
No,
ground.
well, you hit maximum velocity, you die in the air before you
By
hit the
shock,
ground.
right?
Yeah, you have a heart attack. Yeah, because there was a witness. This farmer was a witness. He's like, "What's this wiggly little dot in the sky?" And it's like whipping down. He's like, "What?" And then all of a sudden, it's like like a rocket. This human.
I'm sure you're panicking and flailing.
It looks like a wet noodle flapping.
Yeah, yeah.
Your bones are broken at that point. It's like I'm nuts.
Jesus Christ. Why did you do it? Did she say or?
Oh no, it was a full-on Glenn Close Fatal Attraction situation. She was like a sexual predator, and she would seduce these husbands, and then she would kill like the wife and them. And the guy's like, "I want nothing to do with you anymore." It was a full-on Glenn Close sex predator kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah, someone's got to make a movie about that.
I'm surprised they haven't yet. Netflix special. Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
I'm surprised.
So your last record, Mike, History of Nomadic Behavior, 2021. What's going on right now? Is there anything coming up soon? What are you doing? You got all this material that you have not yet compiled into your next 5 books, but you will under my tutelage.
Yes. But as far as the band, we just been touring our asses off since forever, really.
Right.
We just got back from the UK like a few days ago. We did an entire UK tour.
That fun?
Ireland and Scotland and both Irelands and Belfast and Dublin. Yeah, and it was great. The weather was awful, but it was freezing cold and raining the whole
Well, you can't really warm up in the UK. They don't have the whole central heat thing down so well.
In the summer, it's not so bad, but this was like December, But we did before that. We were in Australia, New Zealand. We've done so much. I don't even know. Like
So
how many shows a year? How many shows a year do you do on average?
We're probably on tour like 8 months out of the year or something.
That's amazing.
I mean, maybe not that much, but it seems like it. I mean, we're not home for that long before. And some years it's more. Like last year, we actually took the first 3 months off of 2023. No, that was this year. first few months of this year, and we were like, we need a break. We need to, take. And then we were like, fuck this. Let's go on tour.
We're
We're here.
road dogs. It's what we do.
Everybody's girlfriend and wife was like, get out. Like, what are you doing? Why are you here? Like you're usually gone.
Right. I love you when you're gone.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about the demographics of your audience. Would you say it's like 85% men?
Probably, yeah. But we do get a lot of, and I'm proud of this fact too. We get a lot of trans people. We get Black people. We get, we do have our share of females that come to see.
It's
because you're in the front as well.
Well, you're not broy bros, and so that's going to allow exactly. No. So there you go. But you probably do tour with some more broy bands sometimes.
We have, yes. We toured with this band Clutch,
I know them, yes.
Their crowd wasn't, they're friends of our drummers. I mean, I'm friends with the guys too, but our guitar player, but yeah, their crowd,
Baltimore? Are they from
crowd
Baltimore?
is more like a mainstream crowd. They were just
right.
I was happy that I had these youngsters over from Atlanta the other day who moved up to New York, whose group is a two-piece called Genre is Death. And they were so excited that I was going to be talking to you. They're like, oh, I can't believe. I'm like, yeah, well, that's why we have the podcast to talk to people.
Right.
You guys have
when it's always good when there's youngsters out there like, how did they find out? What did they find out? What are they coming for? I'm just happy they're there. What I've noticed in Europe, because I was in Europe 4 times last year, a lot like little packs of young goth kids, like in little packs. And I'm like, they're always a good audience because they're just pretty and quiet.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. Like our crowds, I know it's because I'm getting older. We're getting older as the band, but our crowds are getting younger. And it's like these new kids, and it's like new kids buying merch is not a bad thing, I mean, it's great to see these kids. And like I've been outspoken about, we want all the outcasts to come to our shows.
Exactly.
We marginalized everybody. You're welcome. Right. Eyehategod, just because we're a bunch of freaks. So it's all.
Nobody will ever be outside of me because that's about as far out as you can get. So, come on in.
That's why this interview is great, because like I've always been on that wavelength of like like the stuff you're into, the music. And I'm like getting pinned as a metal band has always bothered me, because I've always, like Birthday Party, for instance, one of my favorite bands ever.
Mine too.
The 80s,
Yeah.
Since I was whatever.
Laughing Hyenas.
Hey, Mike, I think you should start stalking Lydia again. I think this is a good opportunity.
I think it's no. You're wrong, Jay. It's going to be reversed now. Now I'll be stalking you, because I know you've got those volumes of poetry and good writing under your bed. And that is one thing. I take the shovel out and I can get that on the table. Come on.
Well, that's good.
Words are freaking important. Spoken, written, or otherwise. I know. That's your guts. That's your soul.
Hey, Mike, have you ever had a band beef? Was there ever like another band like, oh, it's them, and they don't like you, and like, oh, we're on the same festival?
I think we've started some, just for fun of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. A lot of people hated us back in the 90s because we just didn't care about anything. And we'd show up drunk to I know that's unprofessional and we're different now, but show up drunk, and we still don't do sound checks. We refuse. We just don't care.
Wow.
We let the open bands figure that out.
Well, and we've talked.
Do a quick line check, and we're good.
Well, you have a good line check, and you can hear everything. Just go. I mean, and it keeps the sound people on their toes a little bit more. One of my pet peeves, and it's always more in Europe. You go to Europe, there's a European band, and they do their whole fucking show as a sound check, and I'm like, and it's always better than the show. It's like, you guys already burnt out. Like, why'd you do this?
European thing, right?
Yeah, weird. Yeah, they do the whole fucking set.
We played in Moscow the one time we played in Russia, and this band did like 12 songs for their soundtrack. It was unreal. Like I didn't know.
We're wasting our time here.
Yeah. And they're like performing, there's no one in the club, but they're like moving around, and it was
not very
how about closing this out with a few more poems from those massive volumes you've got stacked somewhere in your house?
They're on computers and papers, and
they're everywhere. I know. You know what? I see right in You know, I'm only looking at you from the shoulders up, but my X-ray
Yeah.
vision is going deep.
Yes.
Watch it. Good thing you have your trousers on, honey.
I don't actually.
Don't you prove it to me.
No, I do.
I know you do.
I mean, Mike, you like that, Mike, in the pandemic, like always like kind of released like video meetings where a guy gets up and there he is naked and totally embarrassed, and then they it gets on the news somehow.
Who was the guy that was like masturbating during?
I think that's
he was like a politician too.
Yeah,
right?
oh, right. Yes, that's
Anthony Weiner was his name.
Oh,
well, no, Anthony Weiner, he's a different one. He couldn't stop.
But you know, you got a name like Weiner. What do you expect?
I ran into him in Manhattan once, and he recognized I recognized him
because you might not be walking the same.
It was sad. It was sad. Like his whole career had been ruined. He was like taking his little toddler kid out for a walk, and he recognized I recognized him, and then he kind of like sunk his head like of shame. It was like all because of his dick.
Where are you guys at right now? You're in Brooklyn?
We're both in Brooklyn.
We're both in Brooklyn, yeah.
I lived in Brooklyn for 3 years.
I read about that, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was just throwing that in there.
Did you?
I am nomadic.
I'm hip. No, I was. I've lived all over, but yeah.
Did you ever play L'Amour's back in the day?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't. Coney Island High, CBGB's.
Sure.
CBGB, whatever.
Yeah.
ABC No Rio was the crusty punk.
When you come to New York, where do you play now?
We played Webster Hall, but that was with Randy singing. That was we usually play Brooklyn. Like we'd play St. Vitus all the time.
Which is gone.
Closed, you know.
Which is gone now.
Gone. No. TVI is where we love TVI.
I haven't been there yet, but everything I've heard and seen looks great, you know.
Great place for spoken word. I do a lot of salon readings there. So next time you're up, come on.
Okay. Yeah. You know. I'll plan on that for sure.
Trade poems
this other like trio of clubs. There's like Kingsland, which I think may be closed.
And that's gone too.
Yeah, I think it is. But there's another one. The same guy owns all three. Sovereign is the other one. That's where we played last time.
I haven't played there.
Oh, the Monarch in Brooklyn.
Where's that?
He owns all three of those.
Okay.
With the names: Kingsland, Monarch, Sovereign. Weird names, but yeah, he.
Greenpoint.
I don't know what area it's in.
Right. I don't know, but that's something to investigate. All right.
Yeah.
Take us out with a few more poems there.
All right. Here we go. Was life better? Well, okay. Sorry. Okay.
It's okay.
Was life before society better than this? Pledging allegiance to my disjointed states of anxiety. The new nowhere. All I know is nowhere. The new nothing is here. We're planting roses today for tomorrow's graves, looking for cheap rent on trap streets, non-existent towns, paper cities, and phantom settlements. Life after society is the new nowhere.
Beautiful. Love it.
Thank you. You want more?
Yeah, come on.
Yes.
All right.
It's a new year.
These are short and sweet.
Yeah, they are pretty short. I think I only have one more on this page.
That's good. Let's go. We love it.
All right. I am the pointless Rosicrucian, full of indolence, rife with insolence, denying proverb and psalm, dreadful and full of dread, extraordinary collections of contradictions. I'm ineffectual at not noticing your mental disabilities. Untold charities take untold amounts.
We got to get this stuff out there into the real world.
I know, I do.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get my book to send you that. Which was
absolutely.
It's all old now. All that stuff's really written a long time ago.
Well, it seems like we got a project for the next book coming up.
Yeah. Well,
Between me and Randy, Lamb of God, you're going to be poked from all sides.
I know he's on me as well. So I'm glad though. I need that. You know, I do.
You need a good double donging every now and then.
You know, I'm easily distracted. It's sometimes focusing is hard for me.
Well, just like Alexander Hacker said, and just like I said, you just take that 1 hour every day. Make sure it's the same hour. Figure it out between your trash TV shows and just squeeze it in and just start organizing. And it's going to be done in no time.
Right.
there's, there's some interesting book labels out there now. I mean, Feral House is still amazing. Jawbone is going strong. Infinity Press. Or you self-publish.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, the one
which makes sense if you're on tour, because then all the money goes into your pocket. 48 digital printing. I'm telling you, in a week you got the books. $4, you sell them for 20. You're making the money.
I've thought about self-publishing as well, but well, that's what I'm doing with my book now. That there's a company that has all the files, and I'm just going through them. Excellent. But I listened to your Black Dahlia interview, and he's a friend as well. He was talking about a publisher called Rare Bird.
And I just Chris Mars, who was in The Replacement, beautiful art book came out. I ordered one from them, and it's gorgeous. I mean, his paintings are unbelievable. Yeah, they're very cool. All right, because you've done paintings or the artwork. I mean, maybe get some of your collages in there.
I want to start. I say start, but I want to do more. This place I'm in right now, there's not a lot of room, but like I want to start doing art again and put it all in a book, the writing stuff. But Rare Bird is already, like, I've talked to the guy and we've, got something set up. I just need to get him some PDF files.
Well, you know what? Tell him to send you one of those Chris Mars books, because it's gorgeous. The paintings he did based on his brother's schizophrenia. That's just really nice.
Oh, really? Wow. That sounds interesting for sure. Yeah.
Very cool. Great. Anyway, thank you so much, Mike Nine Williams.
Thank
from
you,
New Orleans. Eyehategod, poet, writer, storyteller, songmaster, survivor.
Survivor, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolute survivor.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Mike, pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, you too, for sure.